Day 143 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem. This time we made it all the way to day 143. Right now we're coming up towards the end of doing about a month of easy strings. We got about a week left of that. Then after we do that, we're going to do about another month of easy hash maps. And then after we do that, we're going to get into the LeetCode 100. But right now we want to focus on these easy problems or different types of easy problems so we could build our fundamentals and we could strengthen our foundation as we continue down this LeetCode journey and as we begin to start to do these LeetCode 100 problems, y'all. So we really want to have a strong foundation and really take our fundamentals serious before we get into the harder questions. Now, before we start today, don't forget, bring a mouse right over here and click that subscribe button for me, y'all. Then after you click that subscribe button, go ahead and smash that like button for me, y'all. And then after you smash that like button, I'm calling all of my bankers. I repeat, all of my bankers to the comment section right now. I need y'all to drop 2 bank emojis in the comment section so we could run up this engagement and we could help push this content out to a broader audience, y'all. As Swift community members, it's up to us to help bring new Swift community members in. And in order to do that, we just have to support and push out the content that's already here. So that's why your support is appreciated, y'all. And so is your engagement. Now, let's get into the question. Today we have question number 551, student attendance record 1. The difficulty level is easy, so you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as well because we're all trying to learn here. And if you don't understand the solution, then you probably won't learn anything, and that is not what we want. So let's see what the question says. It says you are given a string S representing an attendance record for a student where each character signifies whether the student was absent, late, or present on that day. The record only contains the following characters. We have A for absent, we have L for late, and we have P for present. The student is eligible for an attendance award if they meet both of the following criteria. The student was absent A for strictly fewer than 2 days total. The student was never late for 3 or more consecutive days. Return true if the student is eligible for an attendance award or false otherwise. So let's look at these examples so we can see what they mean by that. So we have input S equals equals a string of PPALLP. The output is true. The explanation says the student was fewer than 2 absences and was never late or more for late 3 or more consecutive days. So right here it says these are the 2 parameters that we have to require right here. The first one says the student was absent for strictly fewer than 2 days total. So if you look here, he was only absent 1 day. There's only 1 A in this string, so that means the student was only absent for 1 day, and so that 1 day is fewer than 2 days, so he fits that requirement. The second requirement is the student was never late for 3 or more consecutive days. So if you look, we have a late right here and a late right here. That's 2 consecutive days, but it has to be 3 consecutive days. And since 3 is less than 2, since 2 is less than 3, he fits this requirement as well. And since he has to remember they have to beat both of the following criteria, and since this student meets both of these criteria, the output is true. So let's look at example 2 where the output would be false. In this example, the input S equals a string PPALLL. The output is false. The explanation says the student was late 3 consecutive days in the last 3 days, so is not eligible for the award. So if you look here, he was absent once, so he fits this criteria. Strictly few absent student. The student was absent for strictly fewer than 2 days total, right? So he was only absent 1 day, so he fits that criteria. The second criteria, the student was never late for 3 or more consecutive days. He does not fit that criteria because he was late here, he was late here, he was late here. That's 3 days, so that's why the output is false. So now that we understand the question, let's get into the fun part, the part that all motivates us and keeps us going, the actual code. And the code is actually not that difficult to understand at all for this problem, y'all. So let's get into it. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to declare a variable called absent, and we're going to set that equal to 0. And we also are going to declare a variable called late, and we're going to set that equal to 0 as well. And what these two variables are going to do are they are going to keep track of the amount of times a student was late and the amount of times a student was absent. So it's going to be our counter. That's going to keep count for us, right? So then we're going to say for char, which is short for character, a single character. Char is a single character in S. So for each single character in S, which means like each letter, right? Boom, each character. What we are going to do is we are going to say if char is equal to L, like so, we are going to say, we're going to come down here and we are going to say late plus equals 1, because every time we see an L, that means we are late. So this right here, remember, this is going to keep track of how many times the student was late. So every time we see an L, we're going to add 1. We're going to increment late by 1 because that's one time that he was late. Then we're just going to come down here and we're going to say if late is greater than or equal to 3, what we're going to do is we're going to return false, because that means he was late 3 or more times. So we already know automatically we could return false. Then we're going to come down here, we're going to say else, we're going to say late equals 0. Then we're going to come down here, we're going to say if char is equal to A. Then we're going to say, we're going to open up our brackets and we're going to say absent plus equals 1. So this is going to keep track of how many times the student was absent, right? So every time we see this character A, we know we can increment absent by 1 because the student was absent that day. Then we're going to say if absent is greater than or equal to 2, because right here, what does it say? For absent strictly fewer than 2 days, that's why this is greater or equal than 2, and this is greater than or equal to 3, because for late it's 3 or more consecutive days, and this is 2. So then we're going to come down here, we're going to say if absent is greater or equal to 2, we're going to do the same thing we did for late, and we are just going to return false. Then we are going to come down here and we are just going to say return true. So let's run it. Make sure it runs properly. Let's see. And there it is, y'all. It's accepted. So let's submit it. Make sure it stays submitted or stays accepted. Ooh, and there it is, y'all. 6 milliseconds beats 21.88% of users with Swift. Y'all, not too bad at all. If you've been on this channel before, you know we're not too worried about the time complexity right now, because right now we're just trying to learn and we're trying to understand what's going on. Once we get to the point where I feel like we can do these questions and these questions are becoming more and more easy, then we'll worry about the time complexity. But right now we're just worrying about getting the question solved, and I feel like this is a good solution for that for people of all levels, no matter where you are in your programming journey. So that concludes our question for the day, and I hope to see y'all tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See you then.